Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, June 18, 2025. So, today's episode is a little bit different and it might be a short recap because it was really mostly centered, well, 99% centered on Bo and Hope, their history, their journey together before, during, after, and also a little bit of history on Tom and Alice Horton. So, we go to the Horton house where Bo and Hope, they're waking up after a passionate night together, and Hope surprises Bo with a lovely breakfast in bed, just to get his energy up back. And they're just being flirtatious with each other. So Bo can't believe that he's here with Hope, and they're reunited, and she's just happy to have him back. And he's just thinking about how much he has missed since he's been unconscious, he's been in a coma, and how he's now a grandfather four, started from one to four now. And they talk about how, if Bo is ready to be a grandfather, they said that he's ready for this new chapter in his life. They talk about the house, and if Julie has remodeled it. And Hope mentions to him that it has been remodeled because of the fire that happened last year, and he's surprised that that happened. And she said that thankfully some things were able to be saved, and he's sorry that he wasn't there for her. And she said, look, you were here in spirit, and he knows that she's gone through a lot with her dad. And she said to him that, look, don't worry about it. You were here in spirit, and I'm glad that you're here now. And she just wished that her dad could see them back together, right? Because he passed out before they could be able to reunite, right? They've gone through a lot, and you know, boys saying, I used to be this bad rebel, and I can't believe I'm even in the Horton house. I'm with you, the debutante, the rich girl, the prominent granddaughter of Dr. Thomas Horton. And she said, you're not the bad seed. You're always a rebel, but that's just who you are. And I wouldn't change you for anything, right? So they talk about the time capsule and some scrapbook that Hope made when she was young and gave it to her grandparents. They talk about their whole history, welcoming their first child, Sean Douglas, and how she told Alice about it, if she was ready for it. And Bo, at some point, he did tell Hope to go upstairs, slip into something different. He had a surprise for her. So they had the house to themselves because everybody is gone for some reason. So she dressed into a wonderful wedding dress, and he had this nice setup for them. And he wants to recommit to her, renew their vows, because they have done this before a couple of times. They've been through a lot of divorces. They've always found their way back to each other. I mean, they've been with respective partners. Hope was with, I guess, Aiden, Rafe, Patrick. At some point, Patrick was said to be the father of Sierra, but that turned out to be a forgery, and Bo was the father. So they've been through a lot of history. If you've been watching for many years, you know what I'm talking about. I've watched this for more than 20 years, so I've been seeing most of their history, I guess, in the 2000s and onwards. I've seen where they went through the whole thing with losing Zach, and Chelsea being behind it, and how Hope pushed Bo aside because, of course, Bo was going to support his daughter and everything. And they've been through a lot. When she was acting as Princess Gina, when she was almost murdered by her then husband Aiden, and Bo came in to save her. And I mean, they have stood the test of time with their relationship, and I'm glad that they are recommitted to each other, and they're back as one of as always, cemented the biggest super couple of days, right? So, anyways, he asked her to marry her, and she agreed. There was nobody to witness them, but I guess they did their own thing. It was kind of cute, romantic, and they said their vows to each other. They had a flashback of her saying her vows to Bo back in the day, and let me tell you, these two are very good looking. If I didn't say it before, they're very good looking, right? There was some clips of I guess people acting as young Tom and Alice, and how they've raised a lot of their kids in this house. And Alice was wondering whether or not she wants to sell the house, because it's just them, they're empty nesters. And Tom is saying no, like it's gonna be for future generations to come, which it has served for, right? They talk about how they, been together 25 years, and they've seen so much in their children, and it had flashbacks of them, reading books on Christmas, having the ornaments up, which was always a tradition that I look forward to on Christmas. The Christmas episodes, they talk about how Alice is saying that she's too young to be a grandmother. Now that Addie, Hope's mother, was pregnant with Hope, and they talk about Julie at some point, and there was a part where Hope was saying how Alice was instrumental in it, making sure that Hope was okay with the fact that Julie was marrying her father, because I always found that really weird how Julie is quote unquote her stepmother and also her half sister, because her mother Addie had her with some other person, and that was just kind of weird. Her half sister is with her father, but eventually she got over it and she accepted her. But I'm just saying that was just kind of weird to me back in the day. But yeah, it was kind of cute seeing how the Horton family came about, and how the generations continue to grow, and that they're gonna, as Bo said, there's gonna need more branches for the great grandchildren and the future generations coming on. So another thing that happened during their recommitment was Bo was saying that Sean gave them back the fancy face, and about the fancy face back then, when they used to sail across the world, go to different countries. I think England was one of them. And they were always on some kind of adventure together. So they went to the Horton Square to pay tribute to the plaque of Tom and Alice, and they just want to be like Julie and Doug and retire back in Salem. That's their future goal, but for now they're just gonna continue to do their adventures. So they say their goodbyes to Salem for now. They will be back as always. We will definitely miss them. They're one of my favorite super couples, and I'm glad that they found their way back to each other. I'm glad it's the same actors. It's bittersweet that we won't see John and Marlena as a super couple for more episodes to come, but they will always remain as one of them. Bo and Hope as well, and Steve and Kayla. What is your favorite super couple? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about this episode, because it was really just mainly focused on Bo and Hope and the Horton family. And yeah, that was really it today. I'm hoping that tomorrow they come back with some clips. I want to know what's going on with Xander and Philip, and more about what's actually going on still recently, right? But let me know in the comments below, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys tomorrow.